is This is a tutorial on how to set up a song for Ableton Live that we use here at First Baptist Callahan. So first we want to do is go to Mutitracks.com. You'll see that up there. I'll actually log in here. I've received the song information from our worship leader, and we'll go up here to the top and we'll type that in. The song that we're looking to do is "Oh Come to the Altar." And if you pick the one that's right there, it makes it a little bit easier to find it. So "Come to the Altar," we see that it originally defaults in the key of B. That's something that you're going to want to take note of in a little bit, because we are actually going to change key in a second, and that's going to come in handy. So key of B, we're going to actually do it in the key of G, but we're going to go ahead and click that we want the WAV files. It's in our cart. I'm going to go to checkout, and I will check out here. We have enough credits in the account to be able to do it from the monthly subscription. So now we're at this point, we need to download it. So we're going to come to the altar. It's going to take us to a new page, and we need the key of G. So the key of G is going to be a low file here for them. You click on this, tell it to download this key, and this is going to pop into your desk. What I also do is make sure we download the original key just in case we need it. And I will take the highest wave that they have, which at this point is a D for us, in case we need to do anything else. That way, if we need to make some adjustments later on, we'll have it in a couple different tracks, but that we can adjust some of that in Ableton later. So as you see right now, it's downloading these tracks. It can take a significant amount of time to download these tracks. I'm just going to let this recording keep going in the background while it does. But we have some things that we can be doing in the meantime while it's going. So let's go back to the original file, which is "Oh Come to the Altar." We're just going to go here. And what I have found works really well. It's kind of slow now because it's looking to download everything at the same time. Mutitrack's telling us that we have got our, let's see if we can try this again. Come to the Altar. So what we'll do is look on here, and it's really important to kind of notice what album this is from, which is Here As in Heaven. So I'll go from here over to iTunes. Inside of iTunes, I want to find the very same song, which I'll go to the iTunes store. "Oh Come to the Altar." While it is downloading the information from Mutitracks, hopefully it'll give us enough bandwidth to be able to access the iTunes store. We're waiting, maybe. Now, I just signed up for Apple Music, and I'm not sure if this is going to give us a problem or not. So here we have the same song, "Oh Come to the Altar." Now notice that there are two versions of this. There's an "Oh Come to the Altar," and there's an "Oh Come to the Altar" radio version. So it's important that we go back to the original track, and you'll notice that the multi-track here is 6 minutes and 3 seconds. You see that right there. So my guess is, although they're not showing it specifically here, is that the track that we are getting is the multi-track that is the live process, most likely the live version. So we'll take this. I'm going to actually buy this track, telling me that it's purchasing it. I'll enter my password, and it will get into the process of downloading that file for us. Are you sure you want to buy this? Yes, we want to buy it. So it will start that download process. So we'll go back over here. We'll see how far along. The first one that we wanted was the key of G. Tells us that we have 7 minutes left. We're going to let it keep doing its thing and let it download. These are, as you can see, it's a 435 megabyte file. So it's going to take it a little bit of time to get to us. But while we're doing that, we can come over here to Planning Center, And one of the things that's helpful for some of our Planning Center, excuse me, to song select. And us.songselect.com, we get into this side of it and we can download a vocal chart. Some of our people find these particularly helpful. So we will search in here and it's not coming up. Might have misspelled alter. Let's see what we got there. Let's go back over here. AR, yes. Really important to spell things correctly. Oh, come to the altar. Now, words and music by Elevation Publishing, but you can see that there are no chord charts for this particular song. It's just lyrics that we can have for CCLI, which is good to know. However, it's not really helping us at this point with finding chord charts. Our crew is going to need some chord charts. So we're going to go to praisecharts.com, and we're also going to need to download. Hopefully they will have this particular song in praise charts. If not, then we have other issues in play. Praise charts coming slowly because everything is downloading at the same time. And notice that we spelled it correctly this time. We'll come to the altar elevation worship. We're going to hopefully find what we need here. Okay, so we have chord charts here in all keys, which is good. And we also have down here a orchestration with a lead sheet and a piano vocal sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, by the time we get all of our people in, legally we would have a acoustic, a bass, possibly 2 electrics, a pianist, and maybe a vocalist. So I'm going to go ahead and just do 7 copies of that. And tell it I want to buy 7 copies of the chord chart for this particular song. And I'm also, if they will let me, going to purchase a lead and piano sheet, which it might not let me go. Actually, you just need 3 of those. They get expensive real quick. Yeah, it's just going to be $5.95 to buy 5 of those. Those become really helpful when it comes time to get orchestration. You'll see they have some files here, but they don't really work out as well as the multi-tracks do because they come formatted with a whole Ableton format that makes life just a whole lot easier. So I'm going to come up here to my cart. I'm going to check out. $8.80 for the various charts that we need. So these praise charts are going to come in handy when we come over here to Planning Center, and we're going to go to songs. And I am going to now add a song in. So I'll do add a song. Oh, come to the alt AR. And there's our elevation people. So we're going to add that song. I'm going to tell it that it's a chorus. We are going to do this song in the key of G, which means we really won't need any other things available. I'll import the lyrics, but there are no lyrics or chord charts available inside of Song Select. So we're going to click Accept here. Now we're going to come over here and tell it we want to edit lyrics and chords. Nope, we don't want to do that. Let's go back. We're going to come to add an attachment. Inside of added attachments, I've already linked the 2 accounts between Praise Charts and Planning Center. So we'll wait for Planning Center and Praise Charts to play nice with each other. which will hopefully be soon. Still waiting, Mr. Blue Line. If these songs are in Song Select, it makes it a little bit easier because they automatically can download and import the lyrics and the chord charts directly because we already have an account and that's linked to Planning Center. It makes it a little bit easier. Praise charts, they're just some of the ones that are a little bit newer. A lot of the songs that become a little bit newer, they will be in praise charts. Some ones that are very extremely new won't even be in praise charts yet. So it's just a matter of waiting for those to do their thing. And we are still getting close over here. G is our original file that we need to do some work with. So we will wait just a few minutes on that. One of the things we can be figuring out is how many steps down we're going to need to take the B to get to a G. And having a piano handy is helpful for that. So I'm going to pull up a piano app on my phone while we're waiting for this to do its thing. And when we pull up a piano app, we realize that the note of B is, in order to get to G, is 1, 2, 3, 4 steps or semitones. This doesn't appear to be wanting to work all that well, so let's try it again. Add an attachment. Let's go to praise charts. The whole thing didn't work. Let's wait for this page to load. Let's just reload this whole page. All right, there we go. Attachment, praise charts. We'll come to the altar, select charts. We want to do lead and piano. But we also, this is where it gets a little complicated. So we want the one before. So we want A, B. That should be it. G. I don't really want them in a text format. I want them in the PDF format. And I'm going to close that out. I'm going to tell it to import 2 charts, agree to all the copywriting stuff. We bought the appropriate amounts. It's importing that media for us. So this is a little bit helpful when I'm going to go ahead and tell it this is our multi-track arrangement, and go back to multitracks.com. We can see some of this specific information. This is 70 beats per minute in a 6/8 time signature. So we are going to say 6-8. I'm sorry, we're going to do 70 there in a 6/8 time signature, and the total length of this song is 6 minutes and 3 seconds. So we'll do 6 minutes and 03 seconds. And I'm going to add a key. This is going to be the key of G. I'll download that. They don't have chord charts. What was my problem? Let's see. I've already got the key loaded. Okay, so I don't need to do that. So save and close. So if I go here to the multi-track arrangement, key of G, 70 beats per minute, 6/8, 6 minutes, 3 seconds. So we're set to go as it relates to that. All right, so more junk email coming my way. We are taking more time now to do the others. We'll just sit here and wait for it to make its downloads. Okay, so as you can see here, we had to go through a little bit of a re-download process. Internet connection was lost, and due to security things, it had to get restarted. So we have started, we got G, the chord, the key that we needed in. So we're going to come here to our Finder window, and as you can see, well, what it looked like was there. G should be open. Let's see. Open it up. G is there. So we're going to find it here. So Mutitracks is in G. We're going to take this and we're actually going to drag it over to our external hard drive just to get it copied there. Keep as an archived type of a situation. It's weird. Looks like it's telling us it's in the trash folder. So we're going to now take this and just bring it to the desktop. Okay, so we got that. It's coming here and a couple of others. But we can go over here to Ableton. So what we're going to do is go to this file. Remember, we have saved it to our desktop. We want this particular one that has an Ableton file. We're going to double click on that and it's going to pop up over here in Ableton. So inside of Ableton, we have a template that we were able to get for free thanks to our buddy Will Doggett at Mutitracks.com. And that Ableton template is saved here. I've also, you noticed it says it has some mappings going to it. In 2016, the Novation launch key is already pre-programmed to map to certain parts of this. So we're going to go here, take these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks and drag them into the original track from Mutitracks at the top. So a couple things we're going to do right off the bat, right away before we even get started. One is we're going to tell this, select all of these and tell them that we want to warp these. We're also, this is from more of a timing perspective, more so than anything. We also want to look down here and see if they're going to open up the master track. Notice that there's a tempo track here. We can see that the tempo all throughout this song is a consistent tempo, which is a very good thing for us and makes our life a little bit easier. So a couple things we're going to do from now. This original track that we saved over here, we're going to drag in at this point to the spot that says original track. It's going to take it a minute to load itself in. We're also going to come back here and add in a tempo track. So tempo track helps us if we ever need to change tempo or update things, or we just, it gets off track some. 70 beats per minute is the tempo here. So we're going to come here in tempo, load 70 beats per minute in, and we're also going to come to a click track, and instead of adding in a 6/8 time signature, which is down here, we're going to do a 6/4 time signature. Notice that it fills up the whole measure there when we do that. So we're going to take these two tracks, select them both, and I'm going to drag them all the way down. As I drag, I'm going to hit the minus key, which helps me get close to the end, and then we'll get to the end. I'll scroll over and I'll hit the plus key, and we'll mark those two things right on each other. I'm going to expand the click track, and you'll notice that there's no audio for that click track for a while. So I'm going to come back here. More than likely there's some sort of tag or ending to this song. I'm going to just select this guy and bring just the click track version of this all the way back to where the audio click track comes. I don't normally use the audio click track because sometimes they're just incredibly inconsistent. What's helpful for one group or band when they record isn't for another, and our people just wind up using the same basic click over and over and over again. So because they've always used the same click, that's what they've gotten used to. So here comes the fun part, and this is a little bit challenging for me, not being a musician, is trying to match up the original track to the recording. And never having heard this song before, I don't quite know how that's going to go, but we will see. Just looking at it, my guess is that the whole thing needs to come over a couple of measures, so I'm going to lower this down to like 30 seconds. And my guess is it's going to be somewhere looking like that. You can kind of see where it sort of matches up on the waveforms to the measures, but we'll see.
6.
And what's going to happen right now, you hear that they are out of key. So we're going to take this, we're going to warp it. We need to come back down 4 semitones. I'm going to do that in a Complex Pro. So this should sound a little bit better.
6.
And sometimes it becomes helpful. I just hit tab to go back to the other screen. I'm going to take the original track, turn it down to the left. Then I'm going to group all the rest of these tracks, which we have to do anyhow. Do that by hit Command G to group. And by hitting Command G to group, I can come back to this group and I can go to the other side. Alright, so let's go back here. I'm going to actually mute the click track for just a moment. And notice these tracks don't have any, there's nothing transposed up or down. They are warped so that they can adjust with Ableton's click or whatever tempo track I tell it is the track. This particular one, I'm going to tell it to be the master track. That is the click track, so that will tell us, that sets the tempo for this song. So it sounds like I've pretty much well got things set up, but it becomes good sometimes to come look at these tracks that have vocal parts into it. If I come in where the vocal part is, I can see that the vocals match out. Let's go right here to backgrounds. Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to turn them up for it to be able to hear it a little bit better. I'm also going to come down to this original track. I'm going to take this original track and pull it down a little bit so that I can hear the difference between the two.
Interlude.
Sounds like it's just a beat off.
Verse.
Maybe not. So let's go to the drums. You can hear.
Verse. Bridge.
Let's see if we can mute it. Looks like we've got them pretty well added up. So open back. Make sure sound very well done. We will take that volume down a little bit so you can hear me. Alright, so what we've done now that these are in theory synced and that they are grouped, one of the things I've found to be really helpful is to select that, hit shift and select all the way here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these tracks, or consolidate, which is Command J. And it'll take that track all the way to the beginning. And give us an opportunity to let them all line up. It becomes a little bit easier later on down the road. Alright, waveform's done, that's that. So let's make this a little bit smaller. We're going to come to the end. We're going to go in here into the marker track, go right to the edge, and we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. And hit the minus key, and we are going to insert a MIDI track. And insert a MIDI clip. So you can do Command Shift M or just click here. And looks like Ableton didn't give us fun colors this time. So in order to make this work, you have to expand it. We'll come down here, and I'm going to just get it a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. And I'm going to actually start, well, I won't do it now because you won't be able to hear me. But in order to do this, Command E splits the track. I'm going to hit the left button to get me into that side of the split. Command R renames that track, and I'm basically going to tell it to do the same name that's up here, down here. And then Control Option right key takes me to the next locator mark. So I'll do one bump over to get into that. Hit Command R, and I'll do intro. Enter. Control Option right takes me to the next. Command E, one bump right, helps me get to the next one. Command R tells me verse. Verse 1. And then Command Option right, Command E, one thing. Now we're in verse 2, Command R. Verse 2, Command Option right, one over. One back, Command E, one over, Command R, chorus. Command Option right, Command E, one R, Command R is interlude. Command Option right, Command E, one over, Command R, verse 3. Command Option right, Command E, one over, Command R, verse 4. Command Option right, Command E, Command R, chorus. Command Option right, Command E. Notice it's still the same chorus, so we can just skip the other stuff. Command Option right, Command E, interlude. Command R, T-R-E. Command Option right, Command E, one over, Command R, bridge. Command Option right, Command E. It's still a repeat of the bridge. Command Option right, Command E, one over, Command R, Command Option right, Command E, still the chorus, Command Option right, Command E, one over, Command R, enter, Command Option right, Command E, still another interlude, Command Option right, Command E, still another interlude. And I don't know why it's calling that error. I think it meant to switch those out, which is probably a mistake on their part. So we're going to tell this to do ending. We're going to come up here to this guy, and we're going to rename it to ending. And then we're going to come to this guy, and we're going to just rename him altogether as end. Typically there's a spot at the end that says error. I don't know why they do that, but that's what it is. And that is the end, and my guess is beyond this is just a fade out. So let's listen to the end, and we'll also note where our click track comes out. So I just kind of want to hear what's going here.
Ending.
So there's a lot of stuff going on in our multi-track down here that goes on for a while. And I'm not quite sure what it's doing. So I want to figure that part out. What's actually happening in the multi-track at the ending. So it's just a piano coming through. Looks like there's some open microphones here. like it's almost hearing someone's click come through. So in order to combat this, I'm going to just shorten this multi-track to match. Since this is a master track that we're going to do, we'll make it a little bit smaller. Take it right to the ending. I'm going to take it about 2 measures out. Zoom in to find the second measure. When I zoomed in, I just selected some. So I'm right there at measure, come on, measure 130. Nope, right, here we are. Alright, so let's start with end. So because we really want the whole thing to do this here, we're going to come back to track volume. And I'm going to tell this to fade out.
Ding.
Alright, that'll let us be able to cover it live. So in order to do this, we'll just make the whole song a little bit shorter. So we want the ending to be right here. We'll pull this back, and then we'll take these guys to that mark, this guy to that mark, and the original track to that mark. So when we put everything back in, it'll look like this.
Ending.
Just do we cut off the let's make sure there wasn't anything that we missed here, and it was all not that volume down. Yeah, it's just applause. So there was no tag part at the end that we're going to miss from that, which is good. Take our MIDI track back, and we'll take our tempo track back to this point. Alright, so at this point, this song is pretty much well formatted for Ableton. So I'm going to go File, Save Live Set As, and on my computer, I have a spot where I've been saving all of these things. So that's under Work, Saturday Night Live, Music, and I've called it Formatted Tracks. And I changed the name here, so come to the altar, and it is in the key of G. It is also 70 BPM, and it is 6/8. So I'm going to tell it to save there. One thing I also want to do at this point is I also want it to collect all and save. That means it's going to take all the tracks from everywhere else that it's storing externally, and it's going to put them all in that file. That becomes important for me when it comes time to transfer this from one computer to the next or one system to the next. Everything's already in that one track. So one thing that we also need to do is come here in this particular side, open up a Finder window. We're going to go to Work, Listen Live, Music, Formatted Tracks, and I'm going to go, oh, come, that's not the same one, come to the altar, I believe that's it, let's make sure, yep, and I'm going to go Command I, and I want to change permissions of this so that everyone can read and write. So when I save it to another partition on my hard drive, and I'm going to tell it to apply this to all enclosed items, I want to, yes, so when somebody opens that file, when I open it on another screen, it makes life a lot easier. Okay, so now we got to get it from Ableton into Planning Center. In order to do that, I come here to File, and I go to Export Audio Video. Under Export Audio and Video, it's going to come out as a WAV file, And sometimes it gives us a little bit of trouble as to what measure it stops at. Right now it's telling us it's going to do 135 measures. Let's just check that real quick, which that looks like it's spot on. So 135 measures takes us to right there, which is perfect. That's the end of the file. It's the end of the thing. Everything's great. So File, Export Audio and Video. We want to export this, and I'm just going to usually save these to the desktop. It keeps the name of the file since we just saved it. That's perfectly fine. It'll take it just a minute to do this, and while it does that, it's going to stop all audio. We won't be able to do anything else. Actually, I messed up because there's a couple of things I want to have different here. So let's do this. In order to export it, one of the things that I typically mess up with is I have to tell everything to actually go to the master track. So here it has to go to master, the click track, which is the MIDI click that we just installed, and the guide track goes to master, everything else goes to master, so that's good. So at the moment, both the original track as well as the multi-track are coming to
Interlude.
you can see it's sort of making the master track a little bit hot. So we're going to come back here and we're going to actually mute the original track. I'm going to come to this spot. I think I just overwrote my automation at the end of that track. And our band typically just listens to click and guide all together. So that'll work out well. Yeah, see, I overrode my automation there. Track volume. Which doesn't really matter. I want to follow automation, so I'll come back here, pull that back down. Pull that down a good bit. I want this to be up to 0. That's good enough. Let's go track back a few. So we're good. So now we got to do this again. And we want to export audio and video, and we're just going to replace the same track that we already have. Desktop there says we want to replace. We're good to catch that before we go through all the next processes and have to redo it multiple times. So this is done. We're going to come over to the desktop. You can see it's there's two files. One's kind of an Ableton specific file. This one is here. I'm going to tell it to open with compressor. When it opens with compressor, it brings it up. We want to come into an audio format, and we want to load it into as an MP3. When it loads as an MP3, we want to make sure the source is in the right spot, and it should be located into practice songs, which it is. For some reason, this particular one, when it changes the name, it adds MP3 at the beginning, and I don't want it to do that. So I don't want it to do that. I'm going to hit play real quick. Let's see. Hit play real quick here.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, so that's good. We'll start batch. This process is a relatively quick process that it goes through. While it's doing that, we're coming back over here to Planning Center, and we're going to tell it we want to add an attachment. And then we're going to look into, let's just do this real quick while we're here. Pull these guys over there. Come back here, we want to go to work, lesson life, music, practice songs, and O come to the altar. Let's not confuse it with just the regular O come. And we know that that's there as an MP3.
One.
Can test it and make sure it's there, and it's there. We'll drag this over to Planning Center. Let it load itself up. When it loads up, it's going to ask us what we want to attach it to, and I specifically want to send it to the arrangement of G. There's two attachments there. We're going to select both of them to the arrangements of G. Actually, I don't know if you can do arrangements. The other thing is a praise chart specific thing. So let's see what this looks like. I've never seen this before. See, this is the key of B. I don't want a key of B. Let's see, it all B flat. Okay. So I'm going to make this a little bit more simplistic for our people because we want it in the key of G. So I'm going to tell it to do page 44, 45, 4, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So we're going to do, let's see, print page 44 through 50, and we're going to save that as a PDF. We're going to come back here to work, session live, music, and vocal sheets. And vocal, we're going to tell it some G, tell it there, and then we're going to backtrack our way back to this attachment, add an attachment here, and for the vocal sheets, we'll come to the altar, and that lets us be able to just specifically put it in G, which is great. All right, so there we have it. That is the process by which we save songs into Planning Center, and also the same way in which we place everything into Mutitracks from Mutitracks.com into Ableton Live. You'll notice there's a couple things called control and repeat. What we do with those control and repeat markers, we save those for the template that we create a little bit later on. I missed a spot. Let's go back here, and still missed a spot. Let's see, let's make that a little wider here. That's not a big deal, doesn't affect much, but if you move that track and that's just a hair off, then that's really quite annoying for a lot of people. But that is the process, that's what it looks like, and then from there we can do another tutorial on how to load sets together.